First of all, you're halfway through the Carnivore Diet 10-day challenge. You have made it this far without cheating. You definitely deserve a reward. Remember that rewards make it easier for you to be in the habit of completing your goals. If you did cheat, it's okay. Start over. Next 5 days, you just need to go 5 days and you get a reward. Some reward. Now for the educational part. Today we are going to talk about oxalates, histamines, and fat malabsorption. Yay! Oxalates are little tiny crystals that are found in plants, especially leafy greens, chocolate, and almonds. You might have an issue with those if your diet has previously been high in those. You also might have an issue with oxalates if you are prone to yeast infections, so you have candida overgrowth. If you think that you have oxalate issues, then I encourage you to go down below to the Trying Low Oxalates Facebook group and join there because they just know everything about oxalates. Sally Norton also has great information on oxalates. You might know that you have an issue with oxalates if after starting the carnivore diet you saw a flare in skin rashes. You have what feels like a UTI, but if you've gone in and got it cultured, there's no bacteria present, or you have like gritty, dry eyes, or you are prone to kidney stones. Those are all signs of having oxalate issues. Histamines. Histamines are something that we have in cooked food, and it's something that our body can process really well. The longer food is cooked, the higher it is in histamines. SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, can also harbor bacteria in your gut that produces histamines. When we produce histamines, we have a histamine reaction which looks a lot like a pollen reaction. So if you have like runny, watery eyes, congestion, or even hives in some cases, you might be having a histamine response. The answer to this is to cook your food fast. If you can go from frozen meat to having it cooked as fast as possible, usually we'll use the Instant Pot for this. Just try to avoid things like long cook roasts or bone broth that you're simmering for like 24 hours. Just go ahead and think of cooking as fast and as quickly as possible, and that will lower your histamine load. So your body can process it once it's lowered. Fat malabsorption, we're just gonna talk about poop for a second. I have a whole video series that's linked down below if you're having poop issues. First of all, on the carnivore diet, if you haven't pooped yet, that's totally normal and even good. On the carnivore diet, we poop an average of once every 3 to 8 days, and that is completely normal. It's not constipation unless you have pain and like cramping with your pooping. And again, there is that whole Facebook video series because I have tons of information on that and I can't recap it all right here. But fat malabsorption, if you find that you're pooping often on the carnivore diet, then you might not be absorbing your fat and it's just running through your system without being digested. You can take ox bile, you can take beta HCl. Those are 2 supplements you can take as your body catches up. So I just want to implore you that your body knows what it's doing. It just needs to be brought back into balance. Your body can definitely digest this food. It just might need a little bit of help getting the nutrients out of it as we recover from years, decades of poor eating habits. Today our recipe is scallops. They are super delicious. They are like the carnivore's treat meal.
We have 1 pound of gourmet sea scallops here. These are the larger size, and so we're going to show you how to do the large size today. The small size will be the same method, just probably a shorter cooking time. So the first thing that you do is if they're a little bit gritty, you can rinse them off with cold water, and then we're going to pat them dry with paper towels. And this dry, just like we patted our steak dry, this really helps them get a good sear instead of steaming. After patting them dry with paper towels, we are going to salt them with a little bit of sea salt. And then we're going to let that rest as we heat the skillet over medium-high heat. Once the skillet is preheated, we can melt fat, which can be bacon grease, or it can be lard or tallow, any kind of fat. Ghee is also very good. Butter is fine, except for you're going to find at the high heat butter burns a little bit. Ghee has the part of the butter out that burns, so it's a little bit better for cooking at high heat. We're going to tilt the pan to cover with melted tallow, or bacon grease, and then gently, being careful not to splash the hot fat, place sea scallops in the pan and sear for 1 to 2 minutes for small scallops or 2 to 3 minutes for these large scallops. Once seared, the scallops should lift easily from the pan and be golden on the underside. Flip and then immediately reduce the heat to medium-low and cook for an additional 1 to 2 minutes for small or 2 to 3 for large scallops. Serve warm, sprinkling with more salt as desired.